This is one of the most common and quietly frustrating experiences on the inner path. You have moments of deep peace in meditation or clarity during a walk in nature, a feeling of profound connection and stillness. But then you step back into the whirlwind of your daily responsibilities, and it's as if that peace was a dream. The emails, the to-do lists, the conversations, the noise, it all seems to swallow that quiet sense of presence whole. You might feel a subtle disappointment, as if you're failing to live the insights you've touched. If this is your experience, I want you to know something immediately. This is not a sign of failure. It is the sign of a sincere seeker. The gap between the cushion and the commute isn't a problem to be ashamed of. It is the primary arena of your growth. The goal is not to live in a perpetual retreat, but to learn how the peace from the retreat can live in you right here, right now. Here are 3 grounded, practical things to do if you're struggling to bridge that gap. 1. Lower the bar radically. Aim for micro moments, not altered states. Often, the difficulty begins with a subtle, unexamined expectation. We think that to be spiritual in daily life, we need to maintain a special state of consciousness, a continuous Zen-like calm, or a heart overflowing with unconditional love. When we inevitably can't sustain that, we conclude, I've lost it. I'm not integrated. The first and most important thing to do is to completely redefine what success looks like. Let go of the grand ideal of constant, elevated awareness. Instead, aim for what I call micro moments of return. A micro moment is not a 20-minute meditation. It is a 20-second reorientation. It is the conscious breath you take after you've already snapped at your partner, not to undo it, but to come back to yourself. It is the 3 seconds where you feel your feet on the ground before answering a stressful phone call. It is pausing to really taste the first sip of your morning coffee. Your practice today is not to be enlightened. Your practice is to remember to be present just 3 times. Set an absurdly low, achievable bar. Before I open my laptop, I will take 1 breath and feel the chair supporting me. That's it. By making the goal tiny and specific, you remove the weight of spiritual performance. You succeed constantly, and that success builds a new neural pathway, a pathway that says, I can come back. The doorway is always here. Integration is built not through heroic, sustained effort, but through the gentle, repetitive practice of coming home in the smallest of ways 100 times a day. 2. Anchor your awareness to a routine physical action. The mind is abstract and flighty. It's easy for a spiritual idea to stay just that, an idea. To integrate it, you need to tie it to something concrete, something your body does every single day. You need an anchor. Choose one routine activity that you perform daily without fail. This could be washing your hands, walking through a specific doorway, like your front door or office door, waiting for your computer to boot up, brushing your teeth, stopping at a red light while driving. Now, make this activity your sacred anchor. Your sole spiritual task regarding this action is to be fully present for it. When you wash your hands, feel the temperature of the water, smell the soap, hear the sound, watch the patterns of the water on your skin. Do not let your mind review the past or plan the future during this time. Let this action be a complete sensory experience. Why does this work? Because it's not adding something new to your day. It's infusing something already there with a new quality of attention. You're not finding time for spirituality. You're bringing spirituality into time you already have. This one anchored action becomes a sanctuary. It proves to you, through direct experience, that any moment can be a portal to presence. Over time, this anchored awareness will begin to bleed into the moments around it. You'll finish washing your hands and carry a fraction of that calm into the next task. You've built a bridge. 3. Practice and awareness. Stop trying to replace your experience. This is perhaps the most subtle and transformative point. When difficulty arises, stress, anger, boredom, anxiety, our spiritual instinct is often to replace it with something better. We try to push the anger away and summon compassion. We try to silence anxiety with a mantra. This sets up an inner war, the spiritual you versus the human you. The practice of integration requires a more sophisticated, less violent approach. It's called and awareness. When you feel a difficult emotion, instead of trying to change it, simply add the word and a note of your awareness to it. For example, I am furious at my colleague, and I am aware of this fury burning in my chest. I am overwhelmed with my to-do list, and I am aware of the feeling of pressure behind my eyes. I am feeling disconnected and numb, and I am aware of this feeling of numbness. Do you see the shift? You are not denying the human experience. You are not spiritualizing it away. You are simply introducing a second layer, the layer of witnessing awareness. You are with the emotion, but you are not only the emotion. There is the storm, and there is also the sky that holds the storm. This and awareness ends the civil war inside you. It allows you to be a fully feeling human being and a aware, spacious presence at the same time. This is the essence of integration. It's not that life stops being messy. It's that you stop fearing the mess because you discover you are the space that can contain it all. So start here. Lower the bar to the floor. Choose one physical anchor and practice saying, and you are not failing. You are learning a new language, the language of embodying presence in the only place it can ever be embodied, right here in the glorious and challenging tapestry of your actual everyday life. This is where the real transformation happens, not in the escape from the world, but in the courageous, gentle, and repeated return to it.